Because here is Brian Chambliss. He's going to celebrate his win here at Michigan. He's going to do it in style with the burnout. Oh, Sturgill sliding in to celebrate as well. Alright guys, with that, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have driver interviews. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Played him. We've got some cars coming up along the main straight. Oh! Punched in the face by Evan Rice. No burnouts. Alright guys, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we will have driver interviews. Make sure you stay tuned. To go down to the bottom lane to make it a 3 versus 2 on the bottom. And the outside line has just lost all of its momentum. Everyone going down to the bottom lane now. They'll be getting ready to reset for the next couple of laps, as we're going to have 3 laps left to run when Sanchez gets across the start-finish line here. But it's going to be... Hello everyone and welcome to the Daytona International Speedway for the first race of the 2022 season here for the Output Racing League. Of course, you guys saw the broadcast yesterday from the Clash, which was run last week, and that was a lot of fun. But it's time to get serious. There's points on the line, and we've already got a pit party underway at the moment. So let's go and jump on and have a look at the pit party. Got a few people still coming out of the pits, like Crampton and Frank Isaacson. Looks like the majority of the field's over in turn 4. I'm not sure if they're actually pit partying right now or not, but we'll find out soon enough. It looks like the majority of the field is getting ready for the pit party, which is good. Looks like they're doing a really slow roll just to get this thing going. Maybe doing a second lap. Unheard of at a track like this. Oh, they're just going now. You wanted to wait for the majority of the field to be there, and they're going after the flag. Alright. We're not, we're down with the weird shit. Coming out of turn 2 they go. Now you guys can't hear it as much, but the sounds of these trucks is absolutely massive in my ears. Oh, and there's a crash. Looks like Massio got into the back of Harmon, sent them all around. There's Caleb Finn, a third place getter from the Clash. And Kuzakemi and Hernandez managed to survive the pit party. They're continuing on. And these guys are obviously trying to knock off the time set by Travis Massia. Frank Isaacson's just coming out of the pits in front of them. That'll give him a little bit of a hand. A little bit of draft there for Hernandez. Come out of turn 4. What can they do timing wise? Apparently not much. With Frank being behind him like this, he's going to be in a great spot to try and move his way up the order. Oh, as they ditch off to go practice the pit entry. One way to make sure Frank doesn't get a fast time off them. Mark Pentecough and Sam Niederhelm. Great to see Sam back. He didn't join us for the clash. He is back in racing action here tonight. Jonas Marquez, currently P3. Oh, and doing some dodgy weeby things. This is now a 4-car pack. Frank just coming out of the pits underneath these guys. Mark and Brian fancy an outside run here on Sam and Jonas. Oh, and Jonas with the double kill. Taking out both Mark and Brian. Thought Mark was going to make it through there for a second, but not quite. There's a 95 of Caleb Finn drafting with Frank Isaacson. Frank currently 10th, Caleb currently 12th. Like, Caleb just hasn't really had a decent lap coming yet. And Caleb's not going to get one now. Wanted to practice the pit entry. There's now about 20 minutes left in practice. I would have thought these guys would be doing more pit parties, but apparently they can't pit party because everyone keeps crashing. But with a new season, there's new opportunities. Obviously, there's no Christian Bud racing here this season. So we're completely wide open for a possible new champion or a returning champion. This opens up the door for people like Jonathan Hernandez or John Lozelle, who was super consistent, or even a Thomas Harmon to try and take away a 4th crown. I think maybe we're preparing for another pit party. Everyone's intentionally crashing. So this should be interesting if this is the plan. And it looks like it is. There's Matt Burgess in the 12. Good to see Matt. Currently have 18 drivers signed up for the race. Plus myself making 19 people in the service. Strength of field is a 26.56. We have about 4 people who haven't recorded lap times yet. Well, Matt Burgess being one of them. As he gets right up on the tail of his old sparring partner, Jaron Sanchez. He wants to be around Jaron for the pit party. Rekindle old rivalries. And he's already got a massive amount of rear end damage. How did he get that? Here we go, we're off and racing. Now let's see if they can just survive one lap of a pit party. We are also using a slightly different setup compared to the one that we used last week for the Clash. This one is the iRacing Open setup, which is basically the same setup, it's just the car is a little bit lower. Oh, and a squirreliness. And there is shenanigans. Pretty sure that all started with that Halverlin car. And only a few people were able to survive the crash. There's Hernandez, Lozelle, Marquez, and Harmon still drafting away in their group of 4. Oh, and around goes Marquez and Harmon. Now it's just Lozelle and Hernandez. I'm not running with all my normal information at the moment either, but that should hopefully be rectified by next week. But there's some things that we don't know. Ooh, scary. Commentator that doesn't know things. It's Logan Lansford in the 42. He hasn't put down a lap yet. There he is. And we are indeed preparing for another pit party. Matt Burgess in the 12, just trying to get a lap on the board. Definitely not going to be a quick one with him being all by himself. We'll wait and see what kind of a time pops up here for him. And that only renders him in 13th with a 302, sorry. As it looks like the pit party's starting to roll off. As I said last week for the broadcast for the Clash, you know, these guys can't practice worth a damn, but damn can they race. We had 2 cautions in that Clash. People still in the pits. The 2 of Chris Champeau, who's made his way onto the track. New livery for this week. Looking pretty snazzy. There it is on screen. We're focused on the 39, James Watson just ahead of him. We're in the final 10 minutes of practice. This is where these guys are going to start putting up or shutting up. And the 12 for Matt Burgess already forcing the 3 wide. That could get dangerous very quickly. The 2 of Chris Champeau is going to go with him. Oh, Sam Niederhelm got in the fence. No crash though. And hey, we finished 1 lap under pit party. Incredible scenes. I tried to pit party with these guys earlier. It wasn't happening. Oh, five him up. Pentacup got shoved into the fence. The back of the pack is gone. Oh, and in the air. Oh, I don't know who that was, but that was some incredible air time. Oh, more shenanigans on the back straight now. Caleb Finn and Matt Burgess getting into it. Kyle Kraus going to practice a pit entry. Oh, and around goes the 33, Matt Horton. I think that was off the nose of the 23, John Lazelle. Now we're left with just 3 people from the pit party. The 2 of Christian Poe, the 64 of Jonas Marquez, and the 39 of James Watson. Everyone else is in the pits. I think they're all ready and raring to go for another pit party. These guys looking to climb the order a little bit. Christian Poe remains 13th. James Watson remains 14th. These guys are about a second off the quick time pace set by Travis Massier. Just Champo and Watson now in this little group. They're trying to, as I said, improve their position from 13th and 14th. And doesn't look like they're going to do so right now. They need a bigger pack for that, I think. They need to get a run in the draft. We have just about 4 minutes left in practice. Be a lot of heavy drafting here going on between the 5 of Pentacup and the 42 of Lansford. I expect we're going to see a lot closer times when it comes to qualifying and even in the race. I know Daytona can get a bad rap, bad reputation for being, one of those wreck 'em kind of tracks just because of the way that you got to drive around here. But I've got faith in these guys. I know it looks a bit shifty in practice, but normally when it comes to the race, they clean up their act massively. Plus, they got the advantage of me not being on track, so I'm not going to wreck everyone. Not that I caused any of the wrecks at the clash either. It's Franco Isaacson and Thomas Harmon doing some drafting as well. Thomas in 4th, Frank down in 11th. But Jonas Marquez behind them. He's currently sitting in P3. But he's too far back to be able to draft with these guys, I think. He was on the cusp for a little bit, but yeah, he's just dropping back now. He's lost the draft well and truly. There's no improvement there for Frank. He was 2/10 off of his fastest time. But we are nearing the end of practice now. I'm just mesmerized by how well they're drafting. Thomas isn't pushing him too hard. And Frank's keeping it nice and calm on the wheel. Just getting out of the way to allow Thomas through, although, what the hell? Oh, they're practicing pit entry. Oh, I thought they were on the back straight for some dumb reason. Anyway, that's going to end practice. We're going to go to a quick commercial break here. When we come back, we will see the grid for the first round here of the Output Racing League in 2022. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Alright, we are back. The grid has been set. It's time to get rumbling for 60 laps here in the Output 100 from the Daytona International Speedway. On the pole, we are going to be having the winner of the clash, 23 of Mr. John Lizelle. Out of P2, we're going to have the 95 of Caleb Pinn. P3, the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. P4 will be the 61 of TJ Crampton. P5, the 38 of Thomas Harmon. P6, the 39 of James Watson. P7 will be the 2 of Chris Champeau. P8, the 42 of Logan Lansford. P9 will be the 60 of Kyle Kraus, with P10 being the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. P11, and the last chance for the Hard Charger Award will be the 24 of Frank Isaacson. P12 will be the 33 of Matt Horton. Then we got Jaron Sanchez, Travis Massier, Brian Pizzacami, Matt Burgess, Sam Niederhelm, Jonas Marquez, and P19, last but not least, will be the 16 car of Nishil Condor? Yeah, Nishil Condor. Although it doesn't seem like he is actually currently in the session. Here we go, the pace car is making his way out of the pits. Got one pace lap, and then it's off into racing action. Alright, the hearts are pumping, the adrenaline is thumping. I'm pretty sure I got that wrong, but hey, who cares? It's race day here for the Output Racing League. Pace car is going to make that hard left turn into the pits, which he has actually already done. The first start's on green, all the restarts on the leader, and John Lizelle is off and racing. Jonathan Hernandez giving him a big push from behind so they can clear Caleb Pinn in the outside lane. In fact, Thomas Harmon might actually sneak up into third here because that outside lane just not getting organised fast enough here. Remember, it's a long race at 60 laps. The outside line is starting to come back into it already. Even if it's just two of them who are really good at James Watson just a little bit off behind TJ at the moment. First laps in the book of the new season. John Lizelle finished, no, leading where he started. You know, leading the race after winning the clash. Words are hard, alright? Just want everyone to know that. Ooh, a little bit shifty there actually, coming down the back straight. Maybe a little bit of a bad push there from Hernandez. Maybe it seems this setup is not so conducive to the bump draft. already 2 laps into the books. Guys are actually setting a pretty damn good pace here. And it's expected to be about a 48-minute race altogether if we get no cautions. So we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. I do believe they will have to at least make 1 pit stop, maybe 2, depending on how they go about saving fuel in the pack. Because there is bonus points for leading every single lap, but, well, for leading the most laps, but it's not too conducive to saving fuel. See, everyone is just single filed out right now. No one wanting to drive too hard at the moment. Everyone kind of adopting a fuel saving strategy. Fernandez isn't even really pushing Lizelle that hard right now either. He's just kind of using the air bubble to push Lizelle along a little bit, rather than full on pushing him. It's very smart racing so far. But I think, well, we've just got everyone single filed out like this. Let's just crank it up. For the hell of it. There we go. We're starting to get some 2x2 action now. I thought we'd come out of the old crank it up there. Do the 12 and the 4 on the outside. Sanchez and Burgess trying to get a run going. See if they're able to do it. There's Washington joining them up there on the outside too. And they're actually making a little bit of headway here. Got up to Frank in 7th. That seems to be where they've stalled out. Stall out always happens. Unless they can tempt one more person to jump up high with them, I don't think they're going to make any more progress than what they've got done so far. I'm actually surprised that TJ Crampton hasn't jumped up there. He's normally one who fancies a bit of the higher line life. So yeah, it's a bit of a surprise to see him staying in the low lane. Just probably waiting for them to get a little bit more of a head of steam. See far off in the distance behind them. Sam Niederhelm looking at going into the outside lane, but I don't think he's going to be able to catch up with them. Looks like they're getting a little bit more momentum behind them now. They've managed to push past Frank. Or at least even with Frank once more. Pass lap of the race at the moment is with Matt Horton. 48.316. Now they're going to force up there. And they're starting to make some headway. Caleb Finn jumped up. And to the front they're starting to go. Oh, we've got another one jumping up in front of them this time. That's the 2 of Chris Champeau. He wants to lead this line. He wants to go and take the lead. We're going to be keeping an eye on the progress of this outside line here. We're getting closer and closer to the halfway mark. We might actually go for a quick commercial break here. We'll come back, we'll keep going until green flag pit stops or we get a caution. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back everyone to the Output 100 here from the Daytona International Speedway, and the complexion of this race has changed dramatically. As you can see, two lines of racing action, and John Lozelle moved up to the high line to try and block their momentum, and he did manage to do so, but he also lost the lead in the process. The 88 Jonathan Hernandez, taking over the lead of the lower line, has taken the lead. Also very briefly heard a radio communication saying that they're looking about around lap 30-ish, maybe a little bit later than that to do pit stops. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out for some of these guys. And that could be a problem for some of these guys in the outside lane, to be honest. Especially if you're a John Lozelle who has been leading a line the entire time. Jonathan Hernandez definitely not giving up the lead without a fight now that he's got it. In fact, I think John Lozelle maybe, oh, he drifted up a bit. It almost was looking like he wanted to drop to the back. It was very tempting for Chris Champeau, and that actually ruined the outside line's entire momentum. But if Kyle Kraus here jumps up into the top lane when these guys are actually getting some momentum back, we could see a little bit of a shift in dynamic here, because top two, being Hernandez and Harmon, would slow down by not having that third car in behind them. He doesn't do so though. He stays there, third in line on the bottom. Here comes the momentum from the outside lane. I think that time John Lozelle just sneaking over the line in front of Hernandez. But I just worry about Lozelle's fuel consumption. As I said, he's been leading a line the entire race so far. He's in the worst position as far as the fuel is concerned out of everyone. Oh, he just about got cleared of Hernandez. He almost cut down in front of him. Didn't quite have enough momentum. Champeau was giving him as much of a push as he could give without turning him. And now here goes Thomas Harmon from the inside to the outside. And this is the first time Lozelle's experienced a car on his nose this entire race. So this could be the push that Thomas Harmon needs to get into the lead of this race. And if there was to be a caution right now, I don't think these guys would be able to make it to the end. Even if you were in the pack drafting, I think you'd be struggling to make it to the end if we got a caution right now. But now Thomas Harmon goes to the point of the race. John Lizelle and Chris Champeau have to try and rebuild that momentum, push Lizelle back to the front. But Hernandez giving a big push to the back of that Thomas Harmon truck. As we're getting ever closer to that magical halfway marker. The drafting display going on here is actually quite incredible to watch. Also the differing strategies. See out the back there's 3 cars. They look like they're a little bit off the pace, but just aren't quite. It's Travis Massier, Matt Horton, and Brian Pizzakemi. They're within half a second of Mark Pentacuff and Jonas Marquez there, who are at the back of this pack. They're trying to play the safe game here in case there is a caution. And my fear is if John Lizelle stays in this outside lane, then there could indeed be a caution soon, because he'll just run out of fuel and he'll have no momentum left in that truck. Now Lizelle does take the lead, leaving Chris Champeau to lead the outside line. Thomas Harmon now pushing Lizelle, trying to get him to maintain the lead. As I said, Lizelle is going to have to pit here soon. He's just going to have to. I don't think he's got the fuel that it's going to take to make it properly to the end. This is also Matt Burgess being the pusher for Chris Champeau once more. Thomas Harmon looking a little bit squirrely there, second in line on the bottom. Oh, Thomas Harmon becoming a blinky bill for a minute, experimenting with some alternate dimensions. And where is Hernandez? I don't see Hernandez anywhere in this front pack anymore. He's all the way down in 12th. He must have jumped out and wanted to drop to the back to cool down his engine a little bit. Either that or he felt that the very front of the pack was just a little bit too shifty. As we are half a lap away from reaching lap 30. As we're a lap and a half away from the magical halfway marker. pit lane. This is going to be the point where we reach halfway. No takers. As Chris Champeau officially leads at the halfway mark. Everyone's trying to jockey for position. We've only got 4 cars on the outside line. And I'm pretty sure we are going to be getting pit stops here very shortly. We only have a certain amount of gas in the tank. As I said, for someone like John Lozelle, who's been leading our line for all bar about 3 or 4 laps, their fuel would be a little bit of a concern. Still no takers for the pits. Sam Niederhelm with the fastest lap of the race, the only driver in the 47s, 47.984. Fastest time at the last lap was owned by Logan Lansford at 48.448. And here we go, the leader, John Lozelle in the pits. And he's going all by himself. And now the 2 of Chris Champeau is clean and clear in the lead. In fact, he dropped down to the low lane to take over. All right, here we go. The second lot of people coming into the pits, being led by the 2 of Chris Champeau. But Thomas Harmon coming in as well. Thomas Harmon actually almost beating Chris Champeau into the pit lane. Chris Champeau driving through several pit boxes. Oh, there's a bit of road rage up front. I think Thomas Harmon was actually clipped by the 61 of TJ Crampton coming into the pit lane. Join the action back out on track. Kyle Kraus leading at the moment. So it's Kraus, Burgess, Sanchez, Finn, Massio, Horton, and Pizzakemi, and everyone else now coming into the pits. Oh, wild pit entry there for Kraus. See how that works out for him. There's the 2 of Chris Champeau. He has a massive lead over the rest of the pack. That is definitely going to work to his detriment when they all catch up to him. He has a 2.5 second lead as it stands right now. And that is coming down very quickly as the group behind him is indeed a group. That group being led by the 61, which is, of course, TJ Crampton. As the rest of the field that was in is starting to come out. Although Kyle Kraus still in his pit box. I think the wild pit entry was conducive to him getting a pit lane entry penalty. Probably speeding on the way in. There's the 2 of Chris Champeau. He has indeed been swallowed up by some of the drivers. Got some more. Oh, and there's a crash. No caution. 61 of Crampton, I'm guessing, got pushed around. Harmon's involved. The 2 of Chris Champeau got hit as well. And there's the caution. Matt Horton leading at the point of caution, but let's go have a look at what unfolded here on the back straight. So the 61 of Crampton was being pushed by Thomas Harmon. Let's see if we can find a better camera angle. Here we go. And there's a push on the right side. Actually, no, it's a fairly square push. Oh, he got a little bit squirrely there as the two of Chris Champeau came up to go around Travis Massier. Thomas, with all the momentum, nowhere to go. 61 into the 2 to 13 of Travis Massier. So very lucky he didn't get hit there. The 24, Frank Isaacson, he's going to have a little bit of damage. Thomas Harmon, Chris Champeau definitely with damage. The 42 of Logan Lansford also escaping without damage. So with that, we are going to go for another quick commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to see how things have played out after that. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And we are back at the international capital of speed, the Daytona International Speedway, for the Output 100 here, the opening round of the Output Racing League. And Jaron Sanchez, league owner and operator, currently leading the way. He did not pit under the caution. Going to have Matt Horton starting out of P2, Caleb Finn 3, with, actually, no, Matt Horton went into the pits. So it's going to be Sanchez, Finn, Frank Isaacson, Logan Lansford, Matt Burgess, James Watson, Sam Niederhelm, Mark Pentacuff, Kyle Kraus, and John Lazelle as your top 10. It's going to be Massier, Horton, Hernandez, Marquez, Pizzacemi, Champeau, and Crampton. In fact, just reverse Crampton and Champeau. And the 38 of Thomas Harmon still in the pits. And he has gone a lap down. We're going to have 22 laps left of racing action when we go green. Here we go for the restart now. And we're underway. Caleb Finn with a good jump there on the outside line, but unfortunately Logan Lansford not close enough to him to get the pushing going. In fact, Frank Isaacson not really close enough for Darren to get an advantage either. The side by side we continue to go. Sam Niederhelm being a blinky bill once more. Had 71 blinks in this race. And Caleb Finn on the outside line with help from Logan Lansford. Going to lead this lap, and he's going to take over the lead of the inside line. Logan just not quite clear enough to take advantage of that as well. As we are in the final countdown for this race. Thomas Harmon is back out on track, 1 lap down. 2 of Chris Champeau's far behind. For those who really need a caution to get caught up here. As Logan Lansford takes over the lead, got drafted in front of Caleb Finn. James Watson trying to side draft that lower line to get him a better position. And Mark Pentecoff, for a second then, didn't look like he was going to be willing to push Watson. Was almost going to look for a move around the outside. Pentecoff wants to lead. He doesn't want to follow, but no one's gone with him. Oh, that's gut-wrenching. He's going to drop to the back. Logan Lansford's going to hold the advantage for a little bit longer. Pulling over on the back stretch. He's now gone 2 laps down. And now James Watson going to the point of the race. There's a 60 Kyle Kraus now. We still have 16 people within reach of the lead of this race. Entire field up to Brian Pliskemi in 16th, separated by just 1.8 seconds. And that gap is constantly evolving. Matt Burgess has gone to the point. Sooner or later, this outside line is going to run out of momentum and people. Kyle Kraus should be cleared now as they go around to 2 of Chris Champeau. Kraus not going to take it. Pentecoff doing his third lane thing again. I'm not sure whether he's just fishing for fresh air or trying to get that third lane to get going. Maybe he just doesn't have the confidence to push. Here we go now onto the back straight. Got 15 and a half laps left to run in this race. Carl Kraus, big time clear this time. He should be able to sneak down and take over that inside line if he wants it, but he doesn't want it. He wants to stay on the outside. Feels that the momentum is going to be better in the long run. Fastest lap, the fastest time of the last lap was done by James Sanchez at 49.762. As Thomas Harmon now goes a third lap down. Thomas Harmon and Chris Champeau just looking to finish this race. Carl Kraus is still hanging on to that outside line. Bit of 5 of Mark Pentecoff going for big gulps of fresh air on that nose. That's ruining their momentum a little bit there on the outside line. We're starting to edge ever closer to the final 10 laps of this race. The 5 of Mark Pentecoff definitely trying to get something to go on the outside line. He wants the far outside to go. James Watson, he wants to lead. He's jumped into the outside lane. Says, I'm going to try and take over this thing. Chris Champeau just up ahead. I think Thomas Harmon's just up ahead as well. Chris Champeau getting onto the apron to get far out of the way. Thomas Harmon likewise does the same. Seems the momentum's not quite there with the outside line right now, as it's only 10 laps to go. Matt Burgess still leading the way. This is where we're going to see the intensity start to rise. Matt Burgess just leading that lap. Some people could be considering this a dress rehearsal for the final lap, as if we make it that far without a caution. Brian Pizzicami curiously still sitting at the very back of the pack behind Sam Niederhelm. Oh, there's a little bit of a bump in the middle of the pack there. That was John Lozelle on Mark Pentecoff. Third and fourth in the outside line. The laps are ticking down. Mark Pentecoff in the outside line now. They're gone 3 wide. Kyle Kraus jumping into the third lane as well. And then Pentecoff left room for him to jump back down to the middle. Sanchez dropped down to the bottom. Still Matt Burgess on the point. I'm actually surprised we're not seeing more 3 wide action right now. You see in the background there, Sam Niederhelm, Brian Pizzicami starting to make their moves. And Watson's gotten clear. Can he get it? Oh, that was tight. That was very tight. Heads up driving there for Matt Burgess. They get around the 38 of Thomas Harmon once more. We're starting to get into the real business end of the race now. This is where we're going to see some of the movers and shakers who've been sitting at the back starting to make their way through the field, or at least attempting to. Whether they actually can or not will be a different story. Oh! Matt Burgess copping the apron there coming out of turn 4, almost plummeting into the 60 of Kyle Kraus. That was almost disastrous. 5 laps to go. And John Lozelle now goes back to the point. Oh, a little bit of uneasy bumping there coming from James Watson. But it's getting them to stay in the front. Oh, Mark Pentecoff's in the fence. He just couldn't hold it there coming out of turn 4. 4 laps to go. That ruined the outside line's momentum completely. James Watson now, he wants the lead back. He's gone into the front of the outside line, followed the momentum. And now we have a third lane. TJ Crampton and Jonathan Hernandez trying to get that third lane to work. Kyle Kraus jumps into the third lane. That's going to ruin the middle line's momentum. Three laps to go now. It's still anybody's race. This is where things are going to get real tight. John Lozelle, who I'm pretty sure has the most laps led, absolutely repped up. Oh, and there's a crash. Oh, and they're all gone. The safety car is out. Something happened there to the 39 of James Watson, and that just triggered the huge one here at Daytona. Go back and see if we can see what happened. It comes down to side draft off the 23. Oh, and there's a bump. There was a bump on the 23. 12 of Matt Burgess actually almost spinning the 23 himself. And that is just about everyone involved. You can see the 33 of Matt Horton checking up. The 60, Sam Niederhelm checking up. The 95, Caleb Finn, flipped it in the middle of the pack. The 13 and the 78 also escaping without too much fanfare there. I think there's only about 3 or 4 cars that escaped without getting damaged. So with that, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to see what's left of our field. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, we are back. As you can see, the 23, John Lascelles is going to be leading the way. The 12 of Matt Burgess is going to be restarting out of P2. Now, both of them have slight damage. We'll have to see how that's going to affect them as this race is going to continue on. And it's going to be Matt Horton, Sam Niederhelm, Travis Massia, and Brian Pizzakemi wrapping up the top 6. Those 4 did not get damaged in that crash. Kyle Kraus on the apron there, reforming up. He was unfortunately involved. He's gone a lap down because of repairs. James Watson is probably out of the race. Jonathan Hernandez, Jaron Sanchez all out of the race. Chris Champeau actually out of the race as well. Thomas Harmon was the lucky dog wave around. So after Brian Pizzakemi, we're going to have Logan Lansford, then Mark Pentecoff, Frank Isaacson, and TJ Crampton. And Caleb Finn is going to be in 12th after going upside down. Sorry, he's going to be in 11th after going upside down. Jonas Marquez has just gone a lap down. His engine might have given up the ghost as they were trying to get around to the pits. You can see there Kyle Kraus's car is actually crabbing. The rear end is going to the left. That's not what you want to see. If your race car is doing that, there's something horribly wrong. But here we go. Green, white, checkered here in Daytona.
Go.
And we're off and racing. Sam Niederhelm already starting to blink out. John Lascelles with a good jump. The 33, Matt Horton following him in close behind. Got 2 laps to go. See, everyone's jumping down to the low line to get around Matt Burgess. I think Matt Burgess's problems are pretty bad as far as the aero to his car is concerned. John Lascelles won't be too bad because I think most of his damage is on the left rear. Just have to wait and see how it's all going to pan out. And here comes the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi. He's leading that outside lane. He's got Logan Lansford, Matt Burgess, and Sam Niederhelm with him. See a little bit of a gap also starting to form between the 33 and the 13 of Matt Horton and Travis Massia. Travis actually going to go play with the outside line as this white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for the 23 of John Lascelles. And here comes the outside line. The 13 of Travis Massia getting pushed by the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi. This is where all the movers and shakers are. And this is where they're going to find out who's got the metal to make it work. The 42 of Logan Lansford almost looking like he was going to try and make a third line through the middle. The 13 goes to the point on the outside line. When is Pizzakemi going to make his move? A little bit of contact there as both of those drivers squeeze into the front. Lascelles looking for the outside line. Here we come out of turn 4 for the final time. Oh, and Brian Pizzakemi has gone around off the nose of Lascelles. We've got another big crash. But the winner is going to be the 33. Oh, I clicked the wrong person. Actually, no, it's going to be the 13. The 13 of Travis Massia. P2 goes to the 33 of Matt Horton. P3 goes to the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. P4 went the way of Logan Lansford. P5, Matt Burgess. P6, Sam Niederhelm. P7, Frank Isaacson. P8 is John Lascelles. P9, Brian Pizzakemi. And P10 goes the way of TJ Crampton. We're just going to wait for Travis to go around to the front here and do some celebratory burnouts. I'm pretty sure this is his first win here in the Output Racing League. And anything can happen at Daytona. It certainly did. That race got flipped upside down a couple of times as we got one very happy chappy here in Travis Massia. Ripping up the grass as you should with a Daytona win. We are going to go to a commercial break now. When we come back, we're going to have driver interviews. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, guys, we are back, and it's time for our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award. And today's Hard Charger started from P10, finished in P3. We are, of course, talking about the one and only Mr. Mark Pentacuff. Mark, incredible finish there, mate. You came from what seemed like nowhere. You're up towards the front for a lot of this race, to be completely fair with you. And I'm pretty sure this is your first podium here in the Output Racing League.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I felt like about halfway through I could stay in that outside lane and just kind of hold there, but that was a scary place to be. A lot of runs and slow down, run and slow down, and that gets a little stressful.
yeah, we did notice a couple times when you were in the pushing position in the outside line that you're either trying to get a whole lot of air on your nose, especially in the corners, or you're trying to get a third lane going to divert around the leader of that outside line. What was going on with you in the corners there?
Um, I was trying to make sure I didn't get hot, and then there was a lot of movement on the lower line about halfway through the corner, and I kept getting if I stayed down there, I get so much of a run. I didn't want to turn. I think Kyle was in front of me most of that time, and so I felt like if I stayed down there and pulled that line back, I would also pull right up into Kyle. So I was kind of trying to find a way to slow down and not run him over, but still be able to keep him going through that corner. And I don't know I ever figured it out very well, which is ultimately why I got three wide and ended up touching the wall a little bit and going back to the back.
Now let's talk about the two big ones. All right, so the
Yeah.
first one, took out pretty much the entire field, but about 6 cars. Uh, what was your reaction to seeing that one go on?
That was right after I had gotten three wide and pulled to the back, and it felt like I was losing a little bit of grip up on the top side. I only took two tires, and I felt like I was had less grip also in the corners than everybody else did, and so I was okay being back there, and so I had just basically gotten to the back when that happened. So it was kind of a fortunate thing.
All right, now let's talk about the second one. On the final lap there, how are you able to dodge around it and maintain your third placing?
Well, I don't know that I dodged it. I had gotten a run on the high side and dove down low, and I planned on getting on that low side and kind of pushing there. And then when they got together right in front of me, I really didn't have anywhere to go. And I think Brian or somebody hit my door and knocked me into the grass. And so I was basically along for the ride through the grass for third. So I just kind of just kept it straight and um, just kind of let it ride and really didn't know where I was at because I didn't know how many people had wrecked beside me too.
All right, Mark. Now let's look forward to next week as I particularly go and try and find a schedule because the website's not been updated yet. Uh, we're going to Auto Club, I think it is.
Mm.
So that should be pretty exciting for you. How's it like feeling going to Auto Club?
I usually have better on like a shorter run than a long run, so kind of depends on how racy everybody is. I tend to I tend to burn my right front at Auto Club for some reason, so um, still trying to figure that one out in the trucks. But as long as I can keep my right front happy, I should be able to have a pretty decent finish. I usually do all right there as long as I can manage my tires.
All right, Mark, before we let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
I'll give a shout out to my son. He got back from serving overseas in the Army Reserves, got back safely, and is back home with us. And proud of him, and give him the props he deserves.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, Mark. Congratulations on not only picking up your first podium, but picking up the Hard Charger Award as well. And hopefully, this is a sign of things to come for you.
Hey, we'll see. Appreciate it, Corey.
All right, we'll see you next week, mate.
All right.
All right, guys, that was the 5 of Mark Pentacuff, first time podium getter. and Hard Charger Award winner here tonight as well. As you can hear, he was absolutely elated with that as well. But now we are going to move on to our second place getter. And second place here tonight was the 33, or if you watched the broadcast from yesterday, the 3389 of Mr. Matt Horton. Matt, crazy race there, especially at the end. What's the feeling like for you as the race as a whole?
Pretty good. My strategy worked out to a T. I saw it pretty much dead last all race and hoped for a big wreck. It happened, and then the end. I really don't know what happened coming out of four, but it was a little bit of insanity, and I mean, another second place finish.
I mean, you definitely can't sneeze at a second place finish, especially after executing a perfect strategy run there. So, what was the feeling like as you saw not only the big crash, the first big crash, but the second one come into the line?
The first crash, the only thought process was haul on the brakes and hope for the best, and it worked. And then the second wreck there coming to the line, I thought I might get third if we didn't wreck. I don't know what Brian was going to do, if he was going to try and get outside of Travis, but when he got hooked, it pretty much guaranteed me a second place. So I'll take it. Like I said, can't sneeze out of second place.
All right, now let's talk about the race as a whole. The first half of the race went through pretty well, caution free all the way up to the green flag pit stops. What was your strategy for getting into the green flag pit stops?
For the most part, with green flag stops, I don't like pitting with a huge group, and just because when you pit with a huge group of people on green flag pit stops, you run the risk of hitting somebody. And we pitted with a small group, and I went from last to the lead over the course of the green flag pit stops, and I don't know how, but I pulled it off, and I don't know what the first caution was. So, but it obviously came out and kind of changed up the strategy a little bit from there.
All right, man. Now let's look forward towards next week. We're going to be going to Auto Club. So what's the feeling like for you heading to the Auto Club Speedway?
I'm pretty confident there. I feel like the race is going to be not as drafty as this, obviously, but it's going to be a little bit of a draft fest, and it should be an exciting race for sure.
All right. Thank you very much for coming out, Matt. Do you have anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go here tonight?
Oh yeah, obviously Output, the league, put on a great league. All the people who make this league possible, yourself for broadcasting these, and all the guys who come out here each and every week. It's a ton of fun.
Again, thank you for coming out, Matt. Congratulations on P2, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Auto Club.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that was our second place getter here tonight, the 33 of Mr. Matt Horton. Coming up next, I'm pretty sure it's his first win here in the Output Racing League. He'll probably correct me if I'm wrong when we start talking to him. But of course, today's winner is the 13 of Mr. Travis Massia. Travis!
Hey.
Big win, first
going,
race
Corey?
of the season. You're officially first place in points, mate.
Yeah, first win ever in Output. It's been a long haul, and I've been close a couple times, but yeah, I'm fairly happy. I'm not gonna lie.
See, not only does this win set you up now for the rest of the season, I'm pretty sure you get an automatic entry into the playoffs. And as I said, you're sitting on top of the tables right now because you're the first winner of the season. You put a statement to everyone else that you're here to race.
Yeah, you know what? Last season I did fairly well. I got fourth place in the points, and I'm hoping maybe I can improve on that this season.
Well, hopefully so, especially now that we don't have certain Christian Bud racing with us this season. He's probably still sitting around somewhere watching this, hearing me talk shit about him. But, miss you, Christian. Anyway, man, let's talk about the race. The first half was pretty sedate, as we would expect from a Daytona race, but after that first round of pit stops, chaos ensued.
Yeah, you know what? I was kind of joking that you might be falling asleep because we were all single file for the first 20 laps. But yeah, after we all went in, I don't really like pitting with the big group or being first, just in case there's some chaos there. I like to usually do the late pit stops in super speedways, so I went with a few people in the back with Matt and I think it was Brian, and then we came out and I saw people coming behind us who pitted earlier, and all of a sudden there was just a big wreck behind us. I'm not sure what actually happened. I haven't looked to see what happened. It worked out for us, and then um, my strategy really was just kind of stay in the back and just anticipating another wreck future.
Well, that strategy definitely paid off for you with the two subsequent cautions that came out after that. But what was it like trying to set yourself up for that last-ditch run towards the end there, where there was like 6 cars that had escaped major damage from that second big wreck?
Yeah, I was kind of, when I was just about to maybe go up to that big pack and try to work my way through because I wasn't sure it was going to be a big wreck and just try to salvage what I could. But the big wreck happened, and then there was about 6 or 7 of us that could actually go. And um, Brian got to my outside with 2 to go, and then he kind of lost momentum in turn 4. And then I pulled in front of him kind of on the last lap, and he pushed me forward to the lead. And um, yeah, Brian kind of, without Brian, I wouldn't have been there at the lead, and then he kind of got hooked, unfortunately, on the last corner there.
So there you go. Big shout out to Brian then for pushing you to the lead in that final stanza of the race. But let's look forward towards next week, mate. We're going to Auto Club next week. What's the feeling like for you heading to the Auto Club Speedway?
You want Auto Club in the truck? I'm fairly good on the short run. I still I'm not a good tire saver there. So, and here in Output we tend to have a lot of green flag racing. So, I'm gonna try my best to save as much tires as I can at that track because that seems to pay off in the late run. I think it'll be interesting because I think last time we were there at the trucks, the High Line was the way to go. I'm not sure if it's still the same there or not, but I think it'll be a great race.
All right, Travis. Before we let you go here, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, I want to thank Jaron for putting the lead together. You for doing the commentator. You do a great job. Thanks, Drivers Council, for setting all this up. And thanks to everybody who races in the league. We have a great group of guys, and really at the end of the day, we all get along, and it's great to race here. It's fun. Great place to race. I also want to thank my wife for supporting me and always being there for me. And I want to say hi to my son, Max, who's obviously sleeping right now. But I think that's everybody.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, Travis. Congratulations on not only just getting a win, but getting the first win of your career here in the Output Racing League. Hopefully, bigger and better things as we continue on through the season, mate.
Thanks, Corey.
All right, guys. So that was our winner here tonight, the 13 of Mr. Travis Massia. And as you can hear, he was absolutely overjoyed to get that win. But that is going to wrap up the broadcast here for this evening. Thank you all for coming out. What an incredible race that was. All the calm sedateness of the first half just absolutely decimated in the second half when everyone was going balls to the wall. That's the kind of racing we come here to watch. So until next week, when we go to the Auto Club Speedway, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator, and we'll see you guys at Auto Club.